Hey, hey. If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'm the little boy, the one who's been told to shut up. Many voices in my head telling me that I can't look ahead, and it's making me sick, and I'm tired of being weak. But I believe in myself, nobody cares about that. I'll speak well of myself, nobody's gonna do that. And all I ever want is to be me. They don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'll buy me some Akara. Yes, I will. I'll save the Aurora. I'll use it to para me. I'll call myself Adumarado.
All my life, I've been told that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But so far, all that I've noticed is that beauty lies. Ask Northerners getting crucified, ask Easterners getting pushed aside. Cause someone somewhere thinks they're not good alive. Told the offsprings these folks would never be nothing but a stupid tribe. I could decide to believe these lies, but I've looked inside and I've seen the lines of my deepest scars. I've realized how similar they are to those of folks getting victimized. Only difference is they spilling blood. In my case, I'm spilling tears, sweat, shame and pain. Born out of depression, always under pressure of making a good impression to appeal to senses, or else the weather's gonna be full of terror. They go tell me I don't look the part, I'm not smooth or smart, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. That hurts me a lot, but I keep it up with my different parts. That's only because I'ma look in the glass and tell me stand. I'ma look in the glass and tell me when. I'ma look in the glass and call me grand.
If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, hey,
yeah. They keep telling me I'll never be anything. Only if you believe that I can ever be heard with this. I can tell by the energy and manner they address me with. Evidence is hell and yet it never stresses me. Many better days ahead of me. I swear I'm prepared to be the best you ever seen. I'm spreading the message so cleverly. My steps to never cease. We head to the Beverly Hills and then till heaven greets me. Welcome, dearest being. There's my vow to the man in the mirror and to the one whose image I reflect by the mirror. Hope it's the same with you. Hope you are getting bigger. Even when you get taken down, hope you never give up with love. Hope you never give up with love, cause I cease to be an underdog the day I came under God.
they don't wanna call my name,
They don't wanna call my name.
if they don't think that I'm beautiful,
They don't think I'm good enough for them.
they don't think they don't wanna see my face.
I'm just gonna go my life.
I'll buy me some Akara.
Cause I know I got it inside, you know.
I'll save the Aurora.
I swear there's
I'll
nothing you can
use it to para.
That's right. I'm just gonna move on.
I'll call myself.
Cause I know I got it inside, no matter what you can say.
I'll buy me some Akara, yeah. I'll save the Aurora. Hey, I'll keep it to myself. Use it to para me. I'll call myself.
I swear there's nothing.
That I can change my world. I'm a moving pillar of light in the face of a dark world. An illumination to them that are bound by the power of dark words. Angels announce me, men recognize me. I'm black, I shine, and I light up my world.
Hello.
If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'm the little boy, the one who's been told to shut up. Many voices in my head telling me that I can't look ahead, and it's making me sick, and I'm tired of being weak. But I believe in myself, nobody cares about that. I'll speak well of myself, nobody's gonna do that. And all I have I want is to be me. They don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'll buy me some macara, yes I will. I'll save the Aurora, I'll use it to para me. I'll call myself Adu Maradona.
All my life, I've been told that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But so far, all that I've noticed is that beauty lies. Ask Northerners getting crucified, ask Easterners getting pushed aside. Cause someone somewhere thinks they're not good alive. Told the offsprings these folks will never be nothing but a stupid tribe. I could decide to believe these lies, but I've looked inside and I've seen the lines of my deepest scars. I've realized how similar they are to those of folks getting victimized. Only difference is they spilling blood. In my case, I'm spilling tears, sweat, shame and pain. Born out of depression, always under pressure of making a good impression to appeal to senses, or else the weather's gonna be full of terror. They go tell me I don't look the part, I'm not smooth or smart, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. That hurts me a lot, but I keep it up with my different parts. That's only because I'ma look in the glass and tell me stand. I'ma look in the glass and tell me when. I'ma look in the glass and call me grand.
If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, hey,
yeah. They keep telling me I'll never be anything. Only if you believe that I can ever be heard with this. I can tell by the energy and manner they address me with. Evidence is hell and yet it never stresses me. Many better days ahead of me. I swear I'm prepared to be the best you ever seen. I'm spreading the message so cleverly. My steps to never cease. From here to the Beverly Hills and then till heaven greets me. Welcome, dearest being. There's my vow to the man in the mirror and to the one whose image I reflect like the mirror. Hope it's the same with you. Hope you are getting bigger. Even when you get taken down, hope you never give up with love. Hope you never give up with love, cause I cease to be an underdog the day I came on the guard.
they don't wanna call my name,
They don't wanna call my name.
if they don't think that I'm
They don't think I'm
beautiful,
good enough for them.
they don't think they don't wanna see my face.
I'm just gonna go all my life.
I'll buy me some macara,
Cause I know I got it inside.
I'll save the Aurora,
I swear there's
I'll
nothing you can tell me.
use it to para.
That's right. I'm just gonna move on.
I'll call myself.
Cause I know I got it.
Morning.
No matter what you can say.
I'll buy me some.
Can you hear me?
Save the Aurora. Hey, I'll keep it to myself.
Yes, can you hear me?
I'll call myself.
Yes, I can. Oh, I can hear you now. Awesome. Good
I'm
morning.
a moving pillar of light in the face of a dark world. An illumination to them that are bound by the power of dark words.
How are you doing?
Angels announce me. Men recognize me. I'm black, I shine, and I light up my world. If they don't wanna call my name,
Okay.
if they don't think that
I think we'll just lead to beat
if
for
they don't
people,
wanna see my
and
face,
then we'll start. I'm going to play a song one more time. and then we'll come back here.
I'm the little boy, the one who's been told to shut up. Many voices in my
Mister, I
head
can't hear
telling me
you.
that I can't look ahead, and it's making me sick, and I'm tired of being weak. But I believe in myself. Nobody cares about that. I'll speak well of myself. Nobody's gonna do that. And all I have, I want is to be me. They don't wanna call my name. If they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'll buy me some macara. Yes, I will. I'll save the Aurora. I'll use it to para me. I'll call myself Adu Maradona.
All my life, I've been told that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But so far, all that I've
Can you hear
noticed
me?
is that beauty lies.
Yes, I can hear you, Chenche.
Ask Northerners,
Can you hear me too?
crucified. Ask Easterners, getting pushed aside.
So I said we're just going to wait for till 10 past 10 and then we'll start.
Will never be nothing but a stupid tribe. I could decide to believe these lies, but I've looked inside and I've seen the lines of my deepest scars. I've realized I've seen a lot of art to those of folks getting victimized. Only difference is they spilling blood. In my case, I'm spilling tears, sweat, shame, and pain. Born out of depression, always under pressure of making a good impression to appeal to senses, or else the weather's gonna be full of terror. They go tell me I don't look the part. I'm not smooth or smart. I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful. That hurts me a lot, but I keep it up with my different parts. That's only because I'ma look in the glass and tell me stand. I'ma look in the glass and tell me when. I'ma look in the glass and call me
If they
grand.
don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, hey,
Yeah, they keep telling me I'll never be anything. Only if you believe that I can ever be heard with this. I can tell by the energy and manner they address me with. Evidence is hell and yet it never stresses me. Many better days ahead of me. I swear I'm prepared to be the best you ever seen. I'm spreading the message so cleverly. My steps will never cease. We head to the Beverly Hills and then till heaven greets me. Welcome, dearest being. There's my vow to the man in the mirror and to the one whose image I reflect like the mirror. Hope it's the same with you. Hope you are getting bigger. Even when you get taken down, hope you never give up with love. Hope you never give up with love, cause I cease to be an underdog the day I came under God.
they don't wanna call my name,
They don't wanna call my name.
if they don't think that I'm
They don't think I'm
beautiful,
good enough for them.
they don't think they don't wanna see my face.
I'm just gonna roll my life.
I'll buy me some macara.
Cause I know I got it inside. No?
I'll save the Aurora.
I swear there's nothing you can stop me. That's right. I'm just gonna move.
I'll call myself.
Cause I know I got it inside. No matter what you can say.
I'll buy me some macara, yeah. I'll save the Aurora. Hey, I'll keep it to myself. Use it to para me. I'll call myself.
I swear there's nothing.
That I can change my world. I'm a moving pillar of light in the face of a dark world. An illumination to them that are bound by the power of dark words. Angels announce me. Men recognize me. I'm black, I shine, and I light up my world.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mind First, a summit today to talk mental health, and I think it's a good thing to have you guys here. Like I said, whenever you join in, just say hi so that we'd see you. Just say hi. I can see a few people joining from YouTube. If you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, on Instagram, just wave at us so we'll know that you're here. So this is Mind First, and of course it's going to be sort of like a quick one. It's going to be a quick one, and then we'll just talk about it. Okay, so I'm just waiting for some reactions, just to be sure that we have a good number of people. My co-guest is here, and we'll be having an interesting conversation today. I can see Temilolua, I can see IML, okay, then I can see Amarachi. You guys are welcome. Okay, I can see Brims here. Hey, my guy, what's up? And Eddie Diong speaks on IG. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Yeah, we're going to be having an amazing conversation. Mental health. I know that when it comes to mental health, there are lots of perception about mental health. There's a lot of perception out there about mental health, and I want to also be sure that you guys can hear me. So if you can, please let me know in the comments. But mental health is something that I've seen a lot of reactions from those who are indifferent about it, basically nonchalant about it, who don't think it's anything to worry about, and then those who go to the extreme of it. So, but I think that it's an important part of us, and we need to consistently talk about it. I think that maybe by the time we get into the conversation today, we'll probably even understand better why it's something very important and significant, right? And one of the reasons why we decided to do this summit and have this conversation is that every time at the beginning of the year, I see a lot of us, set goals. We make New Year resolutions. I remember back then as a younger child, in some way I grew up around K2 or Jota thereabout, and I was, of course, exposed to a lot of people in the car parks, who you would call Agberos and all of that. I saw them, I knew them. Some of them were my family members. And one of the things that I used to see is people say with confidence that this year, this year, I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do this, which is an expression of willpower, which is an expression of desire, an expression of intentionality, well, in some way. But by the end of the year, people are nowhere near what they had said they would be or what they had said they would become. And I used to wonder as a child that, okay, so why do people then say it? Of course, personally, I also made resolutions that I never keep. I made resolutions that I never keep, especially to God. Say, God, this year I promise I'll read my Bible every morning or praying, and somehow we eventually do not do all of these things. And in the line of my work, in the line of learning and studying about the mind, you would understand that we can have all the willpower we want, we can make all the decisions, but if there is no alignment with our mind, if our minds are not put in a place where they can adequately empower us to do those things, we're going nowhere, because it's the mind first. The mind is the seat of all that we do and all that we have. And that's why someone can have incredible power and ability, but if they lose their minds, that power, that ability either becomes nothing, or it is used for something entirely different than they intended. Right? So it tells you that, and it's amazing that we pay attention on every other aspect of our lives. We pay attention on every other thing. We pay attention on our finances. We pay attention on our, on our possessions, but we neglect the center. It's called the central nervous system in the body for a reason, because it's what captures and encapsulates, everything, everything that we will be. So today we'll talk about how to align our minds, or how to put our minds in a place where it is able to empower the rest of our lives. How to put our minds in a way where it can adequately and sufficiently power the rest of our lives, or be that to be sufficient enough for all that we want to be, all that we want to become, right? Because we are going nowhere. We are going nowhere if our minds are not in place. Someone gave a distinction between the mind and the emotions and logic. And that's another thing that I see where people contrast emotions and logic, and they do so in a way to put them against each other, right? So if you are expressing emotion, people would tell you that you are probably being childish, or that you should abandon your emotion and just react logically. But you see, no matter how logical you want to be, if you do not sort out your emotions, you cannot tell me that people who are addicted to certain unhealthy, say, substances or drug, for example. As a matter of fact, on the pack of every cigarette that you buy, there's the information, there is the logic that says, there's a logic that says smokers are liable to die young. Right, that's logical. You will think that the fact that that information is there, that people are going to only react to that logically. People who make decisions, in fact, they are medical practitioners who are addicted to smoking, not because they did not know that, but because if you do not sort out your emotions, if you do not sort out your mind, your logic becomes unusable. And that's the conversation that we're going to be having. I know we've set plans. There are things we want to do. We've made plans. Let's look at relationships, or say marriage, for example. Everybody that goes into marriage have one goal in mind: to be successful at it. Everybody wants to have a marriage where they're successful at it. And how come two people who want to be successful at marriage enter into that union, that relationship, and they are each other's reason to fail at it? So it tells you that what drives the most part of our life is not logic. This same principle is also seen in advertisement. The person advertising to you is not selling to you on a logical basis. They are selling to you on an emotional one. And they know that if they can get your emotion, no matter that logic, you are going to make a decision based on your emotions. So rather than run away from our emotions, rather than live a life that is emotions versus logic, how about we put our emotions in a way that it empowers our logic, and it helps us to become better people, right? So I've started my conversation, but I'm not doing this alone today. I'm going to be talking about the having a strategy, or what it means to have a mental strategy, or what it means to have a plan for your mental health, all through the year, especially as it empowers you. And then my friend is here, Chente, the emotions doctor. Is a licensed therapist, and he will be talking about mental well-being as a whole. Talk about anxiety, talk about stress, trauma, and all of that, because they all go hand in hand, right? So I would introduce him, when he's going to come up, but I'm just going to load up my slide here, and then we would get into the conversation. Promise you, it's not going to be a long conversation, but it's going to be quite important and key. Quite important and key. All right. So thank you guys again for coming. Sheyanu, Dove Script, Olufunke. Thank you guys for coming. Okay, so I'm here now. So I would. This is some of the things that I've talked about. What is mental health? But mental health is the overall state of our mind. It affects our emotional and behavioral well-being. That is um, the state of our mind as it affects us internally and then affects us externally. Right? It's what happens within us that affects how we interact, how we receive, interpret, and interact with everything that is happening around us. An important thing for us to know about this is: have you ever seen people who, well, sometimes you hear ladies say that they have mood swings, and some of us may, if we're not properly informed about what constitutes that or how that happened, might think that perhaps they are only making an excuse. But you must understand that our brain, right, has a connection with every part of our bodies, and there are certain chemicals that takes information to our brain. For example, our sense of touch. Our sense of touch, for example, when something touches us or someone touches us, um, the skin has receptors that sends that signal to our brain through certain hormones, certain chemicals, certain neural pathways, and then our brain interprets that and sends it back to our body. Now, on the normal day, that works fine, but you see, when there is, say, an oversecretion of those chemicals in our bodies, it means that a slight touch on our skin might be sent differently to our brain or to our mind, which means that we would react differently. There are people whose sense of touch, whose receptors, maybe the hormones are under-secreted, which means that they don't feel as much pain as the rest of us, right? So it's not just about how we feel, it's that how we feel or how we react or how we understand our emotions is also driven and powered by certain chemicals in the body, right? And that is why some people might be naturally disposed to certain things, and then some people. That is why you can eat some kind of food, and then they boost your mood, they boost your emotions. It's simply because in those kind of food, right? They help the body to secrete certain chemicals that helps you regulate, that helps you balance, right? In the same way, if you do not eat those kind of food, right, you will be deprived of those chemicals, and it means that your emotions will be different, right? So I'm saying that it's not as difficult as we think about it if we are knowledgeable about it, and this helps us, to drive other parts of our lives. For example, there are hormones that are secreted in our bodies when we're stressed, and that's why sometimes people prescribe medications for to patients. But you see, before you get to the point of medications, there are certain things we can do internally within ourselves. There are certain activities, certain things we can do that can help us secrete the healthy hormones, right? So we make plans, and then in March it looks like we have lost all the motivations that we needed. We make plans, and on the day we're supposed to deliver, we just do not feel like excited about what we were about to do. Sometimes it's because there are already experiences that our brain has learned about, and the thing with the brain is that it tries to protect us. So if you have suffered pain in a particular area, and that's how we teach ourselves to live in society. You see a child that has no experience, of pain or what fire can look like. The child goes towards the fire, but the moment the child touches the fire, and then the skin receptors send message into the brain that this is a no-go area, the child begins to take caution when it comes to that. And so for some of us in our lives also, and I'm sure that Chente will talk about this extensively, for some of us, had some experiences that have forced us and caused us to shut down unconsciously, right? To shut down or to shut certain parts of our lives, maybe certain parts of our emotions, maybe it has affected our confidence. So when we get to a particular height, when some opportunities come, we think we're thinking rationally that, oh, that opportunity is not good enough, or maybe something better will come. But we don't know that that's our brain, helping us to not get to the same height that we got to the last time that we were embarrassed. For example, maybe you got up stage one day to speak and to sing, and then somebody gave a bad reaction. Your brain registers that. If you don't intentionally rewire the brain to embrace going back up stage, you might never get back up stage, because the brain will keep pushing that that experience. It will keep protecting you from a similar experience. And you know what we will say? We say, logically, I'm not a speaking person. I'm not an extrovert. I don't like to talk in the crowd. But many of the things that we have owned today are things that they are not really who we are. They are not our personality. They are things that we've learned, or that we've had to succumb to over the years. And then it looks like we cannot do those things. If we do not rewrite our brains, if we do not rethink, how we engage our minds and our brains, we'll probably never be able to live in the fullest expression of ourselves. So our mental health is not just what Gen Zs say, it's affecting my mental health. That's not mental health. Mental health is the overall state of our mind and how it affects us internally, and then how it affects us externally, how it affects our relationships, our work, right? So why is it important? Well, it's important to help us cope with stress and challenges in a positive ways. If you set goals for the year, I can bet you if you live in a constant state of stress, you cannot think productively. You cannot come up with creative ideas. You cannot get the energy to do the things that you want to do if you're operating in a state of stress. And sometimes we have stress that comes from our external environment. But maybe you cannot change that. But there's a way the body can cope with it. There's a way the body can align itself, adequately to be able to deal with such situations. Our mental health, is responsible for our mood and our physical health. Interestingly, if you have ever been in an environment, for example, when I was growing up, we had a big compound, and where the living area was far from the gate. I remember at night when someone knocks on that gate, and I'm being sent to go, to go open the gates. It's dark. I'm scared. Sometimes I'm shaking visibly. Nobody's moving me around. Nobody's, tugging me around. But because of a reaction in my mind, my body reacts to it. It can cause paralysis for some people. There are people who have had anxiety attacks and they shut down. They can't do anything. There are some people who want to go up stage to make a presentation and they start breathing heavily, start gasping for air, right? It tells you that if our mind is not in a good state, our bodies will deteriorate. And in fact, there are times that people go to the hospital, feeling sickness or pain in their bodies, and it's purely mental stress or mental pain. And what the doctors prescribe is a placebo, something to make them feel that they've been treated. And then because their mind thinks that they've been treated, the pain goes away, right? So it enhances our ability to concentrate and learn. If we are not able to concentrate and learn, then we cannot be productive in any way. If we do not have self-esteem and confidence, we cannot pursue our goals. We cannot pursue our dreams. We cannot go out there, because the world is a crazy place. If you are going to attain any height other than where you currently are, it has to take a level of confidence, because you are going into a territory that you've not been before, right? You are going into a territory that you've not been before. So it's going to be, it takes confidence and self-esteem. And that's why this is important. It also helps us, live better. If you are someone who is very jovial and happy, always in a good mood, you would have better relationships with people. You would have better relationships with people. But if you are stressed and you're always on the edge, or if you are dealing with trauma that prevents you from being vulnerable in your relationship, you can't get the best of those relationships, right? So we have people who are in relationships, who are in marriages, and they are the relationship that toxic, not because of what the current person is doing, but because of something that has happened in the past, or because of anxiety for what may happen in the future. And we're depriving ourselves. We're basically not living our best lives. We're basically not living our best lives, right? So statistics says that 1 in 6 people are experiencing a common mental health problem. That's to tell you that it's more common than we may admit. We're dealing with different things more than we may admit. Sometimes what we look at or what we, shout about are the more obvious, more mental disorders. But you don't have to have a mental disorder before you have a mental health issue. If you are dealing with anxiety, if you are dealing with insomnia, for example, if you are dealing with unresolved anger, all these are all mental health issues. It's not until you're contemplating suicide, which, by the way, is more common than we think, right? So I'm just bringing all to let us see how important it is for us to not just plan our other parts of our life, but decide, okay, how do I want to keep my mental sanity this year? What are the things that I want to do this year? How do I understand that a part of achieving my goals, an extreme part of achieving whatever goals I've set, is setting my mental health goals, or planning or putting it in place, right? Someone's give an analogy that, emotions and logic is like you're headed to a direction, you're headed to a destination, and you have a child in the car. The child is your emotion, your destination is logic, right? You don't want to shove the child in the boot so that the child does not make noise, or you don't want to leave the child in the back seat, throwing tantrums, because that would distract you. What you want to do is to ensure that the child is having fun and being with you every step. You're having good conversation. The child is happy, you're happy, right? It might not be a perfect way to explain, but the idea is that if you sort your emotions, if you sort your mind, if you put things in place, you would have each free ride. And when you get to situations where other people, collapse, other people run away, when you get there, you will be more empowered to deal with those situations. Nobody prays, for loss, either loss of relationship or loss of finances or any of that. But if any of that happens, you are in a better place to deal with it. And then it has minimal impact on your overall goal or your overall plans. Some of us, we make plans, and then at the first instance of, let's say you want to do a big conference, and the first person you speak to says something bad about the conference you want to do. For some people, that is the end of it. It's because your mental strength or your sense of self-worth, self-esteem, and confidence is attached to certain things. And when those pillars begin to shake, then everything comes crumbling. But if you've equipped yourself, if you realize perhaps that there are going to be difficulties ahead, there are going to be disappointment ahead, what am I going to do on that day? Which is one thing that I like to do. On the day where I go to that place and I get disappointment, or where I apply to that thing and I'm rejected, what am I going to do? How am I going to react? Would that be the end of my aspiration for this? Would that be the end of my desires? Or you want a raise at your workplace, and then you apply for it, or you ask for it and you're turned down? Would that be the end of it? What happens to your motivation, right? So these are some of the things we need to put in place, and that would help us all through the year. And I call it intentional daily living. We don't live in months, we don't live in weeks, we live in daily life, right? So if we're able to get every day right, if we're able to create this lifestyle that empowers us daily, it means that when things are happening, because we are thinking of it in terms of a daily walk, a daily journey, we're better able to handle things. And of course, I will talk about some things here. Sleep and rest. This seems like, by the way, most things you're going to learn in mental health are very simple. Whatever tips, even in counseling, in therapy, it all comes down to the simple thing that we have neglected as human beings. It always, you see someone who is having difficult situations, their emotions are haywire, and then they come to therapy, and then at the end of the day, they are very simple things. And one of them is sleep and rest. It's so amazing how lack of sleep is seen as an heroic act in our culture, and this is damaging us. This is damaging us as a people. This is damaging us as a people. Lack of sleep, lack of sleep. I can't even stress that enough. And one of the reasons why sleep is important is because um, our mind and our brain and our heart basically does not rest. They're always and always and always and always working. For example, the heart. The heart is that organ in our body that helps us to keep the flow of blood, right? Because if our heart was not there, all the blood in our bodies would rush down to our feet because of gravity. So what the heart does is to help bring that blood back up, to saturate, our body. And that's why when people, let's say, are dizzy or faint or something, one of the things people do is to raise their legs up so that the blood can, flow back, right? Now imagine that the body, the heart works 24 hours without sleep. It's a muscle. We will weaken that part of our muscle. But when we sleep, first of all, when we sleep, we're lying flat, right? Which means that the heart has very little to do, right? Because that gravity pushing the blood down to our legs is eliminated, right? We're lying flat, and then the heart has minimal movement and minimal movement to do. And that's why it is important, because that's how our hearts rest. And then it affects our brain because our brain is constantly processing information, processing signal, senses, all things that are communicating with it. When you are asleep, you are operating at, in hibernation, which means that the brain is doing less work. And then that way it's able to rest and repair. But if you go endlessly without sleep or without proper sleep, endlessly, it means that we're causing wear and tear to our brain. And once our brain is damaged, there's really nothing we can do with ourselves. And that's why we get stuck in terms of creativity. The best thing you can do is to have good sleep. You owe it to yourself as a duty, right? Sleep is the only time our brain and our heart gets to rest and refresh and repair. And while what constitutes rest may vary from person to person, it generally means giving your mind and body the opportunity to unwind, less work, because the problem does not finish. The work does not finish if we do not rest. So one of the strategies you have to create is to review your sleep time, right? And I know that for us young people, we have incredible responsibility. Some of those responsibilities are merely out of pressure. Some of them are important, but we have incredible responsibility. But you have to ask yourself, how long do I currently sleep averagely in a week? If you sleep 5 hours, for example, how can you get into 6, 7 hours? Are there days of the week where you can get conveniently about 8 and 9 hours of sleep? 8 hours is the recommended daily time sleep. On social days that you are not able to get that, okay, how do you make up for that? If you do that alone, I can tell you that you would have renewed energy all through the year to pursue whatever you want to pursue. But if you deprive yourself of that, your brain is at risk, your heart is at risk. Social connection. Having meaningful and supportive relationship with others can help us cope with stress, boost our mood and enhance our self-esteem. You definitely know certain people you speak with, and your impossibilities become nothing. You know people that you speak with them, you can go to them sad, and when you are done with that conversation, you feel excited. Part of your strategy is identifying those people in your lives and planning regular interaction with them. If you have someone in your life that helps you feel powerful, feel confident, then you plan weekly at least to speak with that person. Family is one of those things that give every one of us a sense of connection. And it means that no matter what happens in the world, you can always go home, you can always speak to someone in family, and then and know that at least there's someone somewhere that cares about you. Oftentimes when people um you know start to have suicidal ideas, and it's not necessarily that there are no people around them, but that the connection is missing. That the connection is missing. So do not wait till the time that a major life crisis would happen and then you look around and there's nobody you can be vulnerable with. Build that connection, from the start. Physical activities extremely important. For example, when we do physical exercises, when we jog, we run, we swim, we do all of those things, right? The body releases hormones, happy hormones into our bodies, right? So you can literally be sad, go for a workout, and come back excited. Not because any strange thing has happened, but because, yes, the body has released, certain chemicals that is improving your mood. And that's why I mentioned about, the chemical connection between our body and our minds and, our emotions, right? And another part is to join a community. At least a community guarantees that without you having to do the planning, there are activities for you to do. There are people for you to engage. And one of the things we want to do is to build a computer community this year so that people can always have like a sense of connection online and offline, a place where they can be and they know that the goal of this place is mental health, mental wellness, right? So volunteering, join a community of people. For some of us, our church is church, religious circle is a good community, but we need to connect, really. We need to participate. We need to participate so that we can be engaged. And of course, when you even have real life issues, community is a place where you can get help. So rather than be weighed down in stress, the community, can be a source of support or support, right? We talked about food earlier, right? Certain foods can also affect our mental health. And in one of our sessions for the rest of the year, we would have, a session dedicated to this exclusively, right? So that people can learn the specific things, the specific, the kind of food. A lot of our food is damaging right now. Food that are high in sodium content, right? They put further and further stress on our body because our body is now working overtime to process those food, overtime to deal with them strange chemicals that the body do not know, do not know how to deal with. But the body has to, whatever we give the body has to deal with it. We're creating stress. So while you're supposed to be sleeping and resting, your body is dealing with chemicals and they have no idea about. Right? So we'll talk about food more extensively, but it's important to be conscious, of the food that we eat. Is it the water especially, right? Having enough water and eating at the appropriate time. If you eat like 30 minutes before sleep and rather than your brain, your body to be resting while you are asleep, you have given it a lot of work to do, to start having to break down. That is why it is advised that, we have our meals earlier before bedtime, right? So I think this is the last part I want to talk about: reflection and mindfulness, right? And this is important because it gives us an opportunity to see ourselves, understand ourselves, know ourselves, and then be able to use that information positively, right? Because the more mindful we are, the more we can be intentional about our health. The more we understand what is going on around us, about us, the more we're able to do something about it. There are behaviors, there are things that are going on around us that we may not even understand. We're not even conscious of it because we're not mindful. I used to tell the story of when I discovered that every Tuesday morning, I was always very prone to anger. I was irritable. But how did I get to know that it was on Tuesday morning? It was because I was a bit mindful, right? Because every day I sort of take a stock of everything that has happened. I try to see, okay, what are the things that happened to me today? How did I react to them? And that's being mindful. That is reflection. That is, the ability to treat yourself in a way that you know yourself. A lot of us are strangers to ourselves. Like, we don't even know ourselves. If you meet yourself as an external person, you probably will be shocked, right? Because we go on all out there, we're running, we're doing this, we're doing that. We do not even have time to be alone with ourselves, to deal with ourselves, to speak with ourselves, to listen to ourselves, right? Asking ourselves questions to explore our emotions, to explore our values, to explore our beliefs, our goals. Some of us have set goals that we have no business about, but it's because we're not even mindful to understand what the yearnings of our hearts, of our bodies are. We have no idea. We've set the goals because that's what the world wants us to set. We've created those targets because that's what the world wants us to, right? Yeah, Chente, very true. Right. So doing a body scan to notice any sensation or emotions in our body. That is another part. We probably, and this is true for a lot of us guys, right, who have no relationship with our bodies. But if we're not paying attention, how do we catch when certain things are going wrong, where we're noticing pains in certain areas of ourselves? Right. So a strategy that I would zero in on now is having a me time every day. A me time gives us the opportunity to stop, refresh, and plan, right? To look at everything that is happening in our lives and become aware of them. Some of the activities that can happen within that me time, you could decide to do every 15 minutes in a day, either in the morning or at night, to shut out every other thing and just be with yourself and just deal with yourself. And then you're asking yourself reflective questions. One question you can ask yourself: how am I feeling today? How am I feeling today? What is my mood? What is my mood? How am I feeling today? What is going on my mind? Sometimes we're feeling anxious, but we don't even know why we're feeling anxious. A reflection session can help you to understand, what am I feeling anxious? What's my most dominant feeling or emotion right now? Okay, I'm anxious. Anxious about what? Or when was the last time I wasn't feeling this anxious? What changed? What are the incidents that happened at that time? Did somebody say something? Did I hear news? Did I read something? Did I remember something? This is how we're able to understand. And for those of us that have traumas, this is how we're able to realize that there's certain activities, certain actions. Maybe you realize that every time you get to a particular place, you react in a particular ways. If you are not mindful enough to reflect and take note of those things, you'll probably never catch that. And that's why journaling is extremely important, right? So what I'm trying to say is that the first step is to have a part time of the day consistently for self-reflection, to journal. To journaling simply is you are reflecting and you're penning those things down. You are giving yourself an opportunity to record what is happening, and then you can go back, you can understand, you can look at it at other times. And one of the things we want to do is, the unclutter check-in, which I'll come back to talk about, where you have an opportunity to, we can help you manage that, me time, that reflection, such that we give you prompts that can help you, that can kickstart you into that reflection system or reflection mode, right? So at the end of the day, the intentionality is what works, what matters. It is in the reflection section that you can realize that you have not been sleeping well. It is in that reflection session that you can take an audit of your food or what you have been eating or your social connections and relationships, right? So as I wrap up, if you don't take any of the things that I've said, what I want to leave you with is, please create a me time, create a time, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, as much as you have, to sit with yourself. It's a form of rest. It's a form of refreshing, where you can sit with yourself, ask yourself, reflect, understand what is happening with you, your emotions. And then perhaps if you then think that you have noticed something that you cannot manage by yourself, and that's where therapy comes in, right? And right now, so thank you guys for listening to all of that. And then we'll go into the next session, which is going to be about the entire well-being, and which would going to be taken by Chente. If you have any questions from what I've said, you can put in the comment section so that we could read and see, and then I can react to that. Oluwatobi says, can I get to listen to this later? Of course, you can. You can listen. 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 Okay. Okay. If there are no, let me check on Instagram for. To see if there are comments. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my friend and colleague, Chente, motions doctor, the licensed therapist, and is an amazing therapist working with so many young people to deal with trauma, deal with issues, and to get better, And he's going to talk, take us a bit for about 30 minutes, and then we'll come back, take questions, and then I'll talk about on Clutter Checking that you can be a part of, that can help you manage your mental well-being throughout the year. And of course, it comes with being a part of that community. All right. So, Chente, are you here? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready and I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you for that great speech, Emisi. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate. So now, I actually have, just a tiny problem. Emisi, I need you to help me. How do I share this? Like, how does this my screen? How does it come up? Like the one that I'm sharing. Oh, you guys are used to this technology thing. My own is just mental health and talking to people. See all of you, all these tech bros that found their way into mental health. Well, regardless, thank you so much, Emisi. Thank you. I really do appreciate. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing here is that I'm going to be taking us on a journey where we have to be introspective, right? Emisi has been the all the lovey-dovey person, you do this, you do that. But I'm a person that comes to fight. I'm not a man of peace. I'm a man of war. I'm a man of carry your own battle, right? But regardless, I trust that this is going to be an awesome journey, and I'm just going to do well to run into all of this. So, what am I even talking about, right? We're talking about mind first. Um, Maximizing your productivity in 2025, right? Taking care of your mental health, but the things that you need to do, the things that you need to know to stay at the top of your productivity, to be able to be your best self in this year 2025, right? Now, I'm going to be coming from the angle of what are the things that makes us not achieve this productivity? What are the things that make us, how do I put it now, in a way, downplay our mental health, right? I want us to be talking about it. I want us to be going introspective now. We're going to be entering all those nook and crannies. And as I said, if you reach your turn, just catch it, catch yourself and hold it close to you, like it belongs to you, right? And we are going to be looking at how can we even navigate all of these things. Is it anxiety that is causing you not to be so productive? How can you navigate anxiety? Is it self-doubt? Is it stress? Is it burnout? Is it trauma? All of these things are what we're going to be talking about, right? And I will try my best to be very, very, I'm gonna try my best to be very, very, short and precise, right? But please let me know if everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, type. Let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that we are all following. I want to see in the comments. I can hear you, Chente. I can hear you loud and clear. Type. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. So I know that you can hear me. I can't see anybody typing on. Is it that you can't hear me? Is it my network? Imisi, can you hear me? Oh, Temiolu has typed, I can hear you. Okay, okay, okay. Okay then. So let's go into it. Let's go into it. What are the things that can spoil your productivity, especially in this year? Because I know that most of us entered this year with so much goals. Like we've entered this year, we are saying we're gonna achieve this, we're gonna achieve that. There is so much that I'm gonna do. There's just so much that we have set for ourselves, and we are saying that I'm gonna achieve this. Uh, my slide went down. Is there a reason? Imisi, are you there? Is Imisi okay? Okay. So you said you have already like mapped out your goals. There's a roadmap. You're like, by the end of February, my love life will be top notch. Maybe I'll see the person I'm gonna date. Oh my god, oh my god. You have already said it. You have already like, by February, I'm in a relationship. By March, April, May, June, July, we are cutting, by August, September, he has proposed to me. By December, or by November, I'm gonna get married, and by December, we're gonna do Dirty December together. Somebody say hallelujah. Hey, you have planned your life. You are like, okay, let me think about it. By January, February, March, I'm gonna, by the first quarter of the year, I'm gonna save some amount of money. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. By March, April, May, you have calculated yourself very well. You are saying, see, you see this 30 December, See, those people that are coming from US, they will not reach me. All those people that are flying from abroad, they are never gonna reach me. But you forget that sometimes there is a lot of obstacles that can come in place. There are a lot of things that can just come in place that can, truncate all of those plans that you've had, all of those visions that you've set, and you're not even paying attention to that. And so when December comes and then, you do not achieve any of those things, you're like, hey, God, oh, I'm a failure. You start internalizing some of these things, not knowing that sometimes we make plans and they don't that and they don't just happen. So what I'm going to be saying now is what are those things that can truncate these things, and how do we even, help ourselves to manage them? Number one, I always say that the fact that you are born in this country is already affecting your productivity. The fact that you are born in an African household, the fact that you are a Nigerian already, eh? The fact that you are a Nigerian already, just the fact that you are born in this country would try you. So when I try to explain trauma and everything to people, I'm like, trauma in Africa is a generational. It passes down from generation to generation because there are things that your grandfather passed to your father. There are things that your father passed to that your father has passed to you, and if care is not taken, you're gonna pass down to your children. Your children is gonna pass, and that's how the cycle will just keep continuing. The fact that you are born into an African household already, that is already enough to affect your productivity. It's already enough to try your mental health, right? And I always give this example, right? Imagine on a Monday morning. Hey, you know how Monday morning is now? There's so much productivity, you are already pumped for a lot of things that you want to do. There's so much that you want to achieve. You are going to the office, there's so much goal for the week. You've written your target already, and then you now enter bus and conductor runs away with your change. Hey, that thing has happened to me. See, if you are living outside Lagos, maybe you cannot relate, kind of. But if you are living in Lagos, that this is one of the things that we fight, that we live for. Like, imagine how that can affect your whole day. And so you leave your house, you're happy, you're pumped for the week. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna make sure that I meet up to my target. If I go to work this Monday morning, on a Monday morning, and you enter bus and conductor tries you, or somebody as you are going to work, somebody tries it. Imagine how that can affect your day. That is one of the subscriptions that comes with being in Nigeria, is that sometimes you don't just plan for it. Sometimes even bus conductor, even something can just try you, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey God, from where to where? You go to work, you start nagging, you don't even know where it's coming from because you are not aware. You just start being, you're like, oh my God. You go to work, you are like angry with anybody, you are dashing aggression everywhere. You understand? And people are like, what is wrong with you? If you can trace it back, you see that it was just small thing that conductor ran away with your change. Now, that is one, right? Being born into an African household can try your mental health. Already, you don't have to do anything. Just the fact that you are born in Nigeria, it's already a sub for you to catch, right? Let's move on. Anxiety and self-doubt, right? And I think when it comes to anxiety, and most especially self-doubt, right? Again, trauma. Imagine you grew up in a family where you were always being talked down on, right? You were never enough. You want to say something, they are telling you that, oh, what are you that is even too small? Come on, go and sit down. Or it had to be the fact that, there is something that did happen to us, or that happened to me. I know that a lot of Nigerians can also relate, right, as a child. And that was some of the times, you come back home with like thought, and your parents are like, the person that carry first and second, do they have two heads? You know, you're like, I carry third. Out of 50 something people in class, I carry third, and you are not happy. They are like always comparing you. Oh, the person that carry second, the next time you carry second. They are like, the person that carry first, God, the person that carry first. Do they have two heads? You now carry first. It is that you are getting 97%. The person is there not 100%? You're like, is it that I can never be good enough? Like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? Is there anything that can please you? I have carried third. You say that I should carry second. I've carried second. You say I should carry first. Now I've carried first. You're looking at my percentage that, hey, you are getting 97, but even though it's first, is it that 100%? What happened to 100%? They're never appreciating you. that you can even get it right, right? Imagine how that can affect you as you grow up, in adulthood, right? You just think that there's nothing that you ever do that will be enough. There is nothing that you do that will ever be enough. You start doubting yourself. You feel the need to shrink yourself because there's nothing that you can ever do that will ever be enough. Sometimes you enter a room and then you feel the need for you to just shrink and go back into your shell and act as if, you know, I'm not enough. I'm not enough because of what happened to you in childhood. Right? I'm sure that most of us can relate to, to this, right? I'm very, very sure. Imagine growing up with that type of mentality, or growing up in the sense of competition. They are always comparing you to other people. This person, see that boy, he's not a good boy, why can't you be like that? This person, oh, you failed at finance, but you pass in maths. They are not always recognizing your strength. It's always your weakness that they are pointing out. Always your weakness, always your weakness. Imagine how that can inform you as a child. Imagine, it's so heartbreaking. And sometimes I just want to like go back to my parents and be like, you scarred me. You scarred me. See what you made me do now. I feel like I'm in a competition. You are finally employed in a place where everybody's just taking their work slow. Everybody's just doing their work. And before you know it, you know, you want to you want to carry first at work. You understand? Like everybody's just doing their work normally. Everybody's just, there's nothing like target. You come to work, but you, because of your trauma, you come to work and then you want to pass. Sir, I finished. Everybody's gonna say, like, is this person mad? Like, what's wrong with you? Right? You always feel like you're in a competition with them because you have always been compared. Imagine how that can inform you and inform how you think, right? Self-doubt. You don't believe in yourself anymore. You don't believe that you can even do something. You don't believe that you're even capable. You don't believe that you are enough. You don't believe that you are enough. So you always have to constantly prove yourself, right? As I'm saying, be catching yourself. If this is hitting you, let it hit you well. Be catching yourself. Just be holding it, right? Now, three is carrying unhealed wounds, right? Carrying unhealed wounds and trauma. Imagine how this can affect your productivity. Imagine they served you breakfast last year and you've not really, really healed from that breakfast. Imagine, and you've had so much plans for this year, and when you want to achieve them, the breakfast just hits you. Like, you just, you just think of that loving boy or that loving girl that broke your heart, and you're like, hey, God, I beg. Right? And, trauma, right, and all these emotional wounds, right, they can actually do so much harm to us than we actually think, right? They can do so much harm to us. Like, again, we start thinking that, we start internalizing all of those things that sometimes we forget that some of the times, right, things don't just work out. Things don't just work out in relationships, and that is okay, right? It doesn't mean that you are the person at fault or this other person was, but sometimes people are not compatible, and it's okay for people to go their separate ways. But you have internalized all of those things. In fact, you're even blaming yourself. Oh, it's me. Oh, it's because of me that day, because of I was too soft, because of I was too distant, because of I was too that thing. Do you understand? And you're internalizing all of those. That can limit you from even being your best self in this 2025, because there's so much baggage that you're carrying that you need to let go, right? Carrying unhealed wounds and trauma. There's so much that you have that you need to let go. Because when you feel lighter, right? And that is the essence of therapy, actually. That therapy helps you feel lighter. It helps you process things, all of the things that you have internalized, all of the things that you have not even forgiven yourself for or even forgiving others for. You internalize all those things, and it makes you feel like, you know, you are at fault, or it makes you feel like you are not even good enough for moving on. And then that can actually keep you in a spot and limit you from achieving your progress. And imagine what that can do to your mental health, right? Now, lack of emotional intelligence. I like the way you put this picture here. Lack of emotional intelligence. Now, when it comes to emotional intelligence, right? Because I am a certified emotions doctor, right? And this is one of the things that I do teach. I think that some of the time, most people do not even understand what emotions are, right? They do not even understand the emotions that they are actually feeling. They don't even want to get to the root of the emotion. Some people try to even suppress their emotion, and by suppressing your emotions, you're not processing them, you're not feeling them, you're just pushing it down, and before you know it, it's going to come to the surface again, and that cycle is going to repeat itself again. One of the things that I always recommend people to get, or that I even give in my sessions, is this. It's called an emotions wheel, right? It's called an emotions wheel. Now, this just shows you that there are over, in fact, this is not even complete. There is a bigger one, right? But there are over 100 plus emotions that we actually feel. But the ones that people think that we actually feel is this ones in the middle, right? And here says, anger, sadness, happy, disgusted, surprised, bad, fearful. Like, we only think that those small ones are like the emotions that we feel. But when you break it down, right, emotions are there. There are plenty emotions, right? And what this will help you when you are emotionally aware, right? Or when you know, okay, these are just emotions. How can I process them? How can I navigate them, right? It helps you understand what you're actually feeling as at that particular time. Emotions are not, let me say this, right? Now, I mostly teach this, and I know that this is not like an emotional intelligence class, but let me say this, right? There's nothing like good or bad emotions, right? And I think when we learn that, we learn how to practice our or navigate our emotions better. There's nothing like good or bad or positive or negative emotions, right? Rather, there is positive or negative responses to emotions. So the anger that you feel, the jealousy that you feel, the hatred that you feel, the envy that you feel, the happiness that you feel, the joy that you feel, right? It's not as if that some of them are bad and some of them are good. Emotions are trying to push you, or they are trying to teach you a particular thing, or they are trying to reflect something that you're actually going through. Let me give this example. Imagine, you people should not bail on me. Oh. Make sure that you're on the, like, make sure that you are following me closely on this example that I want to give. Imagine you go to, or imagine you and a friend, right, that came out of school together. You guys graduated at the same time, maybe did the same course. You came out of school together, and you now got the same job. You're working in the same place. Now you see that this is you and your friend that have the same, you guys are possibly in the same level, right? Imagine this your friend, maybe after like 5 years of working in that same place, and your salary is like 100K, right? Or 200K, right? Imagine you and this your friend that is working in the same place. Imagine that your friend buys a car. Now you are genuinely happy for your friend, right? You want to tell your friend that, oh my God, we are gonna go around Lagos, we are gonna shut down everywhere. Like, everybody's gonna know us. Hey, is this your car? We are gonna, we are gonna paint this Lagos red. We are gonna, anywhere we are gonna drive. I'm gonna fuel it for you. We're gonna, you're genuinely happy for your friend. But if you look deep down, you see that there is a little bit of jealousy. Now, not everybody feels this way, but I'm just saying it. I'm giving you an example, right? Now, see, so that you are following me, right? If you're following me, right, I follow you, Chente. Write it down on the comment section. I follow you, Chente. Write it down there. Let me know that you are following me on this, so that I'll continue this. I want to see in the comment section. I follow you, Chente. Oh, I follow you, Chente. I'm waiting. I can't say anything. No. Nobody is following me. Nobody follows Chente. Eh? Okay. So let me keep going, right? Now, imagine that your friend buys this car. Oh, I'm following you, Chene. He said, Chene, I like that. So, so imagine this your friend buys this car, right? And now it must not be a car. I mean, there are sometimes that we feel that a friend that we know or that we are in the same level does something, and then we are happy for them, but in a way, we feel a little bit of jealousy. Now, here's what I'm trying to say, that jealousy in and of itself is not a bad thing. Let me tell you how to process that emotion, right? If you look deeply, you will see that jealousy is trying to point you to something, right? That jealousy is trying to point you to the fact where you start asking yourself questions like, what is it now this is how to positively respond to this emotion, right? Remember I said that the emotion is not, there's no good or bad emotion, rather there are good and bad responses to how to your emotions, right? So imagine you feel that jealousy. Now the right thing to do is that you're processing this emotion. You're like, why do I feel this way? I know that I feel happy for my friend, but why is it that I feel jealous in a way, right? Now when you start processing that, you see that maybe, as I said, maybe you and this your friend started out together. Maybe you've been working in the same place together. Maybe you guys had the same name. So you're asking yourself this question: is it that I don't have a good saving habit? Is it that what my friend, or do you understand? Like, is it that my friend can save more than me? Is it that, so that means I'm not really, really good with money, right? I'm not good with my finances, right? Because if my friend could do this, maybe with the money, if he's really using his salary that he's using, that means it's my finances, right? I'm not really good with my finances. That is one way of processing it. Secondly, is it that this my friend has a big God somewhere that is helping them? Now you know that you cannot control that, right? Is it that this my friend actually what did this my friend do to get this thing, and why is it that I've not gotten it? That is how to process an emotion, right? Why am I feeling this way truly? Is it that I'm not capable of saving to this point? Is it that my finances are bad? Is it that I don't know how to save? Or is it that this my friend has a big God somewhere else, or somebody that is even sponsoring them that made them buy this car? Because if you check it, if they are paying us 200,000 every month, and maybe he bought a car of 10 million naira, and you're like, there's no how I will say, because I mean, or maybe this your friend sef is not even married, and you are even married and you have children, that you know that you cannot even buy that car, right? So it's by processing that emotion. When you process that emotion, you know why you're actually feeling that way. You know, oh, you're like, oh, I think it's because of this my friend just have a better saving habit. You know that you are meant to save better, right? You know that you are definitely meant to save better. Or if it's something that this your friend has a big goal somewhere, you know that you cannot control that, right? That your friend will obviously buy it and you cannot control that. That is how to process your emotion. Is that there is no emotion that is good or bad. Your anger, your envy is trying to point you to something. It's trying to point something to you that this is why you are feeling this way, right? So if you're angry with somebody, you should know, why am I angry with you, right? What is the thing that you do that I keep having this feeling towards you, right? You know how to process that emotion. All your emotions are valid, and I think knowing this would even help us understand, and protect our mental health better. Because when we know something, when we process something, when we know that, oh, I may not just be able to control this, right? Or how can I even be better to understand this? It helps you navigate whatever you are feeling. Again, this is not emotional intelligence, because I can teach this for 2 hours, right? I will break down every emotion, but this is not emotional. Maybe I and Missy will do that, one time, right? Where we get to understand our emotion. But let's move on, right? Lack of emotion. Understand that all your emotions are valid, right? And it's how, here is the word, right? Here is the word if you need to write something down. There is no positive or negative emotions. Rather, there are positive or negative responses to emotion. It is how I respond to that emotion that truly matters, not what I feel. My jealousy, my envy is definitely valid, but it is how I respond to that emotion that truly matters. Now, okay, I didn't even give the second part of the example, which is the negative response. Now, when you feel jealousy, now the negative response, when that your friend buys that car and you now feel that jealousy, the positive response, as I said, is by you processing, knowing that is it an insecurity? The negative response will be, that friend now bought that car, you now gonna do automobile. You know, you now gonna do automobile. You now gonna bust the friend's tire, or go and do, this around their car and do accident, and let your friend now have accident and die. That is how to negatively respond to that Do you understand? You can feel anger, right? And you process the anger. You know, okay, why am I feeling this anger? Do you understand? What can I do, right, to process this anger, right? You either have a conversation about it, you set your boundaries well. But the negative thing that you do when you have or when you're experiencing anger is that you begin to break something, you begin to become violent. That is a negative response, right? Even joy that we think that is a seemingly positive emotion, you can also react negatively to joy. There was this example that I think last year that some people got some cars, they were feeling joyful, they wanted to, do something, and they got some cars and they started driving the car and they bashed it somewhere and they had to pay millions of naira, right? Now they were feeling joy, but which response did they give to it? It was something negative, it was something that they had to pay for. Do you understand? So every emotion, every single emotion that you feel is valid. It's how you process them that is the main thing. I'm so sorry for wasting time on this. Stress and burnout, this can affect your productivity in many ways. I feel like most of us, we don't take our time to rest. We are always, we are in that fast paced, we always want to do, this year I'm going to get the bag, the bag, this 30 December has to be, I'm going to do the bag, I'm going to get the bag, that we forget that our body sometimes needs time to rest. I think Emisi did mention it in his session, right? But sometimes we forget that our body is not, as they say, body no be firewood. Do you get, like, you should always, always, always have time to rest. If not, your body is gonna take that rest for you, and that is how people sometimes shut down. You know, sometimes people slump and people even die because you are fast paced. You always want to do. Oh my God, I have to make this and I have to do this. Not knowing that you see that work, you see those people that are doing those things for. If you die today, highest 1 week of silence because they need another person to do that work and they're gonna move on. So why don't you prioritize your time? I always tell people, right? Sometimes you don't need to go to that place. You don't need to go to that place. You don't need to. Sometimes you don't need that place that that friend is calling you. Hey, how far? You just came back home. You just drop your bag and they're calling you. How far now? Come to this joint. Come to this joint. Immediately you drop your bag and you go. One day your body is gonna tell for it. Your body is gonna tell for it. Why don't you prioritize your time? Know what works for you. There's some okay. See what I do, right? See what I do. I- So I have sticky notes, right? I have sticky notes, and this helps me plan my day, right? See, even the first thing here is unclutter is this thing, right? That was my first thing for today. There is the second thing I have, then there is a live I have this evening. Then it's important here. I also want to rest and sleep. Do you understand? Like, I know that my body is not firewood. I have to rest. If I'm gonna be working, if I'm gonna be doing all the things, then I should be able to also prioritize my own body because that is important, right? Schedule your day. Know that okay, I'm gonna take out this time, do this, right? And at the end of the day, I'm gonna rest. It's okay to say no. My friend, I can't make it out at this time, right? Uh why don't we schedule to next time? I can't make it because I just came back and I'm really, really tired. You must not always say yes to everybody that calls. Take out time to rest. It would help you. It would help you. Now, not setting clear boundaries at work, in relationship, and personal life. Hear me and hear me clearly. Boundaries are not to push people away. Boundaries are you saying, this is how best we can work together to achieve a beautiful relationship. If you follow these rules, we would not have anything to fight, right? If truly, truly, right, somebody likes you, somebody respects you, they will respect your boundaries. People that disrespect your boundaries are people that they are not meant to be in your space. They don't truly like you because your boundaries are saying that, see, I value our relationship together, but I also know that I have to protect myself, right? So if you follow these rules, if you follow these things, right, we have no issues to fight. You know, again, boundaries are not statements. I feel like sometimes we just say statements and we think that they are boundaries. No, boundaries are not statements. Statements like, I don't like being shouted at. Who are you that I cannot shout at? Me that used to shout at my mom. Do you get that kind of thing? Like, people disrespect their parents, people disrespect other people. It's now you. maybe their work person, their work colleague that they cannot shout at, especially maybe if they senior you or if they are your boss or something, right? People do all that to people that they love. It's now you that they cannot. You get set your boundaries clear. Boundaries are not statements. They are not, I don't like being shouted at. They are, if you keep shouting at me, I'm gonna walk out of this place. That is a clear boundary. That is a clear boundary. A boundary should be at, there should be a consequence that is attached to a boundary. If you keep doing this thing, I am gonna do this thing. If you keep shouting at me, I'm gonna walk out of here. That is a boundary. If you keep hurting me, I'm not gonna let you into my personal space, right? If you keep hurting me, I'm not gonna let you into my personal life, right? That is a boundary. And when you say something, you keep to it. When you set a boundary, make sure that you keep to that boundary. Make sure that you keep to that boundary, right? Because that is one of the reasons why people always step on our boundaries, because we say some things and we tell people, I don't like being shouted at, stop shouting at me, I don't like being shouted at, and then they shout at you, you are still there moping at them. I will leave, but you are still there. So how would they respect you? They will keep shouting at you because they see that you are weak. You are somebody that if you say something, you are not gonna keep to it. So I will keep shouting at you, nothing concerned, because I know that you're not gonna do anything, right? That is not a boundary. A boundary should be something that you keep. If you say something, if somebody hurts you, and your boundary is, if you hurt me, I'm not gonna let you into my personal space, then kick them out of your life. Don't let them into your personal space. Already, it communicates to them that this person doesn't like this thing, and if I do this thing, this is going to be my consequences. So that at the end of the day, when they do it and you give them, they know that you've communicated this to them earlier. That is it. Is that clear? I hope so. Now, not practicing self-care and self-compassion. If I should ask us now, what do you do for self-care? Some of us do not even know. Some of us do not even practice self-care. Some of us, like, I don't know, like, sincerely, I don't know. I don't know, like, some of us do not practice self-care. What do you do for self-care? This would help you. What do you do to feel like yourself again? Right? Part of self-care is also setting boundaries, right? That is part of self-care. It's also setting boundaries. Part of self-care is also resting, right? Part of self-care, and people think that self-care sometimes, is far. When I'm traveling to the Bahamas, that is not just that can be self-care, but that is not what self-care entails. It's self-care based on what you resonate with, what you can afford as that. If you know that you cannot go to the Bahamas, go to the beach. Do you understand? Like, what do you do for self-care? Ask yourself that question. What do I do for self-care? It's important that we start prioritizing ourselves and doing self-care. Take out time and breathe and rest, and just understand what works for you, what makes you feel alive again. Like, is it going out with friends? Is it being with friends, right? Is it sometimes just being alone and processing your own thoughts? Is that what works for you? Is it sometimes just traveling, going out for like a few days to breathe and get by yourself, and get back your mojo, right? Is it is it reading? Sometimes it makes you feel alive again. Is it sometimes buying things to tell yourself that I actually do love myself, right? Some of us, we make so much money that sometimes I don't know what we use the money for. If I come to your wardrobe now, there's nothing there. You don't use the shoe that you have been wearing since, or the shoe that your lover bought for you. Sometimes do something for yourself to make yourself feel loved, right? That is what self-care is. As you're caring for other people, the only person that you truly have is yourself. Take care of yourself. And self-compassion. Practice self-compassion. What is self-compassion? Self-compassion is just saying that, how would you treat a dear friend that is in need? Treat yourself that way. With how you will show up for a dear friend that 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 had some issues. Do you understand how you show up with so much kindness? Show yourself those kindness. I feel like most of the times, right? Most of the pressure that we face, we put that pressure on ourselves. Sometimes things don't just work out, work for us. Sometimes we fail. that we are calling ourselves, oh my God, we are a failure, we are this, that we forget that most of the times, failing is part of the human experience. It is. It is. It's part of the human experience, right? Sometimes we do things, we fail, but the idea is that it's not to stay in that place, right? It's that you feel, okay, what can I do to stand up from there? Forgive yourself, even if you are the one at fault, even if you did something bad. You also deserve forgiveness. That is self-compassion. Be compassionate. How you be compassionate to somebody that is in need, or to that person that you see and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. Do that to yourself. We are so hard on ourselves. We are. We insult ourselves, we curse ourselves. Child, I know it's me. I'm very stupid. It's me that fell for that person. That is why that person had the chance to hurt me. Okay, you fell for that person. Loving is a beautiful thing. You should understand that there's no chance that you get to love that is wrong, right? You experience something with that person, appreciate it, and that's okay. Understand that sometimes things don't actually work out, and that is fine. That is fine. Practice self-compassion, right? Understand that you're struggling and that is okay to struggle, right? Understand that you have to give yourself as much kindness, as much compassion as you're giving another person. That is self-compassion. Practice self-care and learn to practice self-compassion. Now, lastly, not committing. It's meant to be not committing. Not committing to therapy. Now, if all of this that I've said, if anyone resonates with you, it's important that you go for therapy. It's really important. And I think that's the idea of the unclutter check-ins that Eunice is going to come up and say, right? That's the idea. But I think it's important to understand that as humans, especially if you're born in Nigeria, right, you're born with a lot of trauma, you're born with a lot of things, right? They've told you that you're not enough, that you, at a point, started believing that truly, truly, I'm not enough, right? You need therapy. It's important that you go for therapy. It's important that you seek help, right? Nobody is perfect. You should understand that. Reaching out for help doesn't mean that you're weak. It's actually a sign of strength. It's a sign that I might be struggling and that is okay, right? That I do not have to go through this alone. And there are people that can help me and that can guide me towards navigating whatever I'm going through. It's important to understand that therapy helps you, right? It helps you discover yourself. There are some of you here that you know that you are made for more. You know that you enter a place, you see somebody that is speaking, you see somebody that is doing things, and you're like, I can do this. But there's not just courage to do that, right? There's no courage to to come out to do all of those things. There's no courage. You don't just feel alive to do that, right? There's some of you that feel that way. And I totally understand that, right? Therapy is important. Therapy helps you discover yourself. It equips you with tools that make you understand this is where I am and this is where I want to be. And so if I want to go here, what and what do I need, right? You just like you and the therapist, right? Thank you. Took me a long time to learn this. Care for yourself. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, as I was saying, right, I think it's important. I think it's important. I think therapy is important for every single person. It is important. It helps you understand yourself. Who am I truly, right? What are the traumas that have shaped me? Why I am wired the way that you're wired? Maybe the reason why you're running away from love is because you feel like you've had experiences with love in the past, or you were abandoned, that you feel like every single person is gonna hurt me, right? Every single person is gonna leave me. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna push people away first. I'm gonna push you away before you have the chance to push me away. That is why you're not committing to anything. Somebody that just come and show you small love, you want to run away because you feel like at the end of the day the person is gonna hurt you. And so you are pushing everybody away. You don't even think that you deserve love. Therapy will help you process that and get to the point where you understand that you are enough, right? You deserve love, both from yourself and you deserve love from others. Therapy will help you debunk, it will change your mindset, right? It will help you learn coping skills, right? As a child, you've been told that you're not enough, you can never amount to anything. You know that thing that Hey God, God, our parents really did so much to us, and thinking about it, it hurts me so much. They've told you that you are not enough, that you can never make it, and so you now started believing it to yourself. You started internalizing it. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think anybody likes me. I don't think this. I don't think that. Therapy would help you. It would help you. And so, if you want to get to that point where where you recover your full potential, where you understand who you are very productive in 2025. Because at the end of the day, your mind, right? Your mind governs the rest of your life. Is what you think that you act, is what you think that you become, right? So if your mind is not in the right place, you can never, ever, ever get to where you want to be. Put your mind in the right place, and that's what therapy is going to help you. Mind first, right? It's concentrating on your mind. It's concentrating on, how do I take care of myself, how do I do this, how do I do that, right? And again, as I said, Imis is going to come up now, right, and talk about the encounter check-ins. And I think it's important that you register for this, to have a community of people, right, that is like minded, that is on their journey of healing. That in this place you are seen, you are heard, you are valued, and you are understood. You are validated. Your feelings are validated here. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, no, that person, you are too small to be feeling this way." That everything that you feel is actually valid. Commit to therapy. Commit to therapy. It's really, really important. It's really important. In my years as a therapist, I have seen beautiful people. Like, I have seen people, right, that the idea of therapy, just them being in therapy, it has shaped their mind. They know what they want, they know how they can get there. They are on their journey of healing, and it's awesome to know that. It's awesome to see that there are literally some people that are committed to this journey. Therapy, once you go to therapy, you will never remain the same. Believe me, you will never remain the same, right? Even me as a therapist, right? I'm also on my journey to healing, because, like I said, as a Nigerian, you are born into trauma, and I know how many of my traumatic experience I begin to let go, right? I've relearned just because of I committed to therapy, right? And it's important. It's very, very important. So I hope this short, you know, admonition was able to tell you what are the things, or inform you what are the things that can affect your productivity, and how do I navigate them. Thank you very much. I remember your humble self, Chinte Emotions Doctor, your licensed mental health therapist, the founder Safe Space Support Group, and peace, guys. Emisi, you can go up now. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you, thank you for the powerful session. Some of
Emisi,
this.
you're echoing. You're echoing.
Okay,
No, it's not. It's still the same thing, but I want to know whether it's also me. Is it from my end? Does anybody also
Mike,
sense the
can
same thing? Let me
you
see echoing on
hear
your
me
end.
properly? Echoing, or is it clear? I'm just speaking on speak. Comment on Instagram from Crackles. What is happening? Let me be better. Hello. Okay, I'm hoping the audio has a bit of a drag on Claire.
Just let me know when it gets better. Let
Yeah,
me know
but
when it gets
I think it's better now. It's better now.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you very, very much. There's some comment on Instagram. Oh, you sound much better now. And slow down sickness. Okay. Um, okay, Rom Studio saying self-care is prioritizing yourself, resting and saying no. I got a place out here by the B as a form of self-care. Beautiful. I love me enough to invest in my self-care. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, like one of the things that I know you've stressed is, oh, you sound drunk. uh, Interesting. But two key things that I would conclude and then we'll close is you have to create time for yourself. You have to create time for yourself. It is in that time that you are able to catch whatever emotions and feelings that are going on. It is in that time you are able to pay attention to whatever is going on within you. And that's why the uncluttered check-in is uncluttered check-in is more like a first step before therapy, right? Some people are not comfortable with jumping into therapy, but with uncluttered check-in, you can have a daily time where you check in, right? And then would have a weekly or monthly um, reflection section together. So on your own in a day, you commit to a particular time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes daily, where you're expected to reflect, to think about, you know, your day, plan for the next day, and then we can have joint group reflection section. Um, I will put the link in the chat so that you can click on it and then see, and we can send you all the details that you need to know. And one of the things you get is that you get to be a part of a beautiful community of young people that are um, paying attention, are being intentional with their mental health, which means that there are going to be more online sessions where you get to learn, like Chente was talking about, the whole emotional intelligence, understanding your emotions, and it's something that he is very knowledgeable about, understanding your emotions. A lot of us do not understand our emotions. We don't even know what it means. Sometimes we are sad, but we are expressing anger, right? So understanding the language of our emotions, and would also have physical activities. And then there'll be a lot of resources. There are a lot of templates for you to maybe understand your particular emotions better. A lot of those templates would be available for us in that community, where you can get a lot of access. I would share a link for those of us that registered, or send the link to us, and then for those of us that are in the chat, we can take that link, and then take the link, and then give our feedback, and then indicate what we want. Obviously, if you want to start therapy, there's going to be discounts because you're a part of this community. There's going to be discount so that you can begin to take some of those issues. Do not wait until you get into a relationship or you get into certain circumstances before you start dealing with some of these issues. So um, I'm going to put that in the video and then in the comment section, so that we could so that we can make use of that. But if you are in the chat, please let me know, how was the session? What did you learn from our conversation today? What did you learn from our conversation today? If you're in the chat, if you're listening or watching, Okay, so oh, someone sent a message, setting clear boundaries at work. Okay, so there's a question here. Okay. Question about setting clear boundaries at work, in relationship, and in life. So if you have questions also, please put in your question. We would have about 10 minutes to take questions, to take your questions. If you have questions, yes. Oh, it looks like there are no questions. So I guess that we, like they say, means that you probably perfectly understood what was said. Perfectly understood. Okay, so I'm just working up the link. Okay. Oh, so I'm just going to. So while we're waiting, you can enjoy the Akara song.
If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'm the little boy, the one who's been told to shut up. Many voices in my head telling me that I can't look ahead, and it's making me sick, and I'm tired of being weak. But I believe in myself, nobody cares about that. I'll speak well of myself, nobody's gonna do that. And all I ever want is to be me. They don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face. I'll buy me some Akara. Yes, I will. I'll save the Aurora. I'll use it to para me. I'll call myself Adu Maradona.
All my life, I've been told that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But so far, all that I've noticed is that beauty lies. Ask Northerners getting crucified, ask Easterners getting pushed aside. Cause someone somewhere thinks they're not good alive. Told the offsprings these folks will never be nothing but a stupid tribe. I could decide to believe these lies, but I've looked inside and I've seen the lines of my deepest scars. I've realized how similar they are to those of folks getting victimized. Only difference is they spilling blood. In my case, I'm spilling tears, sweat, shame and pain. Born out of depression, always under pressure of making a good impression to appeal to senses, or else the weather's gonna be full of terror. They go tell me I don't look the part, I'm not smooth or smart, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. That hurts me a lot, but I keep it up with my different parts, and that's only because I'ma look in the glass and tell me stand. I'ma look in the glass and tell me when. I'ma look in the glass and call me grand.
They don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face.
Telling me I'll never be anything. Only if you believe that I can ever be heard with this. I can tell by the energy and manner they address me with. Evidence is hell and yet it never stresses me. Many better days ahead of me. I swear I'm prepared to be the best you ever seen. I'm spreading the message so cleverly. My steps to never cease. We head to the Beverly Hills and then till heaven greets me. Welcome, dearest being. There's my vow to the man in the mirror and to the one whose image I reflect like the mirror. Hope it's same with you.
All right, so the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat, is on the screen and then in the chat. So please just indicate if you have questions. We can take your questions later. If you want to join the Unclutter check-in or you want to do therapy, please just use the link and then we will reach out to you and you'll see all of the options and then we can talk about it. So thank you for being a part of our conversation today. Thank you, Chente, for coming around, for sharing, so you've been those insightful things. Thank you so much. There are no questions, so it's going to be a wrap. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. I'm wishing you a wonderful year and a year where you are intentional about your mind, about yourself, and you are able to pay attention to yourself. So it's going to be a goodbye for me. Chente, do you have final words?
It was a good one from my. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Hello?
Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so as I was saying, right, I said I did enjoy all of the conversations. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. And most importantly, prioritize your mental health. Take care of yourself, guys. Okay. And see you in our community. Join the community. It's going to be really helpful. And also share to your friends.
All right, bye.
You can go. I'm beautiful.
Yes. See ya.
If they don't want to see my face. I'm the little boy, the one who's been told to shut up. Many voices in my head telling me that I can't look ahead, and it's making me sick, and I'm tired of being weak. But I believe in myself. Nobody cares about that. I'll speak well of myself. Nobody's gonna do that. And all I have, I want is to be me. They don't wanna call my name. If they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, I'll buy me some macara. Yes, I will. I'll save the Aurora. I'll use it to para me. I'll call myself Adu Maradona.
All my life, I've been told that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. But so far, all that I've noticed is that beauty lies. Ask Northerners getting crucified, ask Easterners getting pushed aside. Cause someone somewhere thinks they're not good alive. Told the offsprings these folks will never be nothing but a stupid tribe. I could decide to believe these lies, but I've looked inside and I've seen the lines of my deepest scars. I've realized how similar they are to those of folks getting victimized. Only difference is they spilling blood. In my case, I'm spilling tears, sweat, shame and pain. Born out of depression, always under pressure of making a good impression to appeal to senses, or else the weather's gonna be full of terror. They go tell me I don't look the part, I'm not smooth or smart, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful. That hurts me a lot, but I keep it up with my different parts. That's only because I'ma look in the glass and tell me stand. I'ma look in the glass and tell me when. I'ma look in the glass and call it grand.
They don't wanna call my name. If they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face, hey, hey.
never be anything. Only if you believe that I can ever be heard with this. I can tell by the energy and manner they address me with. Evidence is hell and yet it never stresses me. Many better days ahead of me. I swear I'm prepared to be the best you ever seen. I'm spreading the message so cleverly. My steps to never cease. From head to the Beverly Hills and then till heaven greets me. Welcome, dearest being. There's my vow to the man in the mirror and to the one whose image I reflect like the mirror. Hope it's same with you. Hope you are getting bigger. Even when you get taken down, hope you never give up with love. Hope you never give up with love, cause I cease to be an underdog the day I came under God.